What's that? Okay, so we just watched Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. You've just watched Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, for the first time.
Yeah, the first time.
Okay, so now, alright, so what did you think of it? We watched it maybe half an hour ago, something like that. What did you think of it?
I liked it.
You liked it.
So,
you liked it a lot. You liked it a lot. So what? So it was a movie. I don't know what was it. It had a budget of $6 million. So 94 it came out. Now back in back in '94, movies like this weren't so accessible. Now when we found out a Street Fighter 2 movie was coming out, we were pretty stoked. We were pretty happy. You know, it's normal for you now to have animated Japanese movies easily available. But back then, especially in '94, but '95 it probably came out in Australia. When I first got to see it, I saw it through a copy. A friend of mine at school had a copy of it, and he copied it and gave it to me. Now, before that, there were always some kids that would talk about a Street Fighter 2 animated movie that you couldn't get, or something like that, some crap like that. So most of the time, these were Asian-related friends, and they could get imported videotapes. And these videotapes, so there was a Korean Street Fighter 2 movie, or cartoon movie that wasn't official, and there were other bits and pieces. There was a movie. There was a movie from Hong Kong called Future Cops, and that used Future Cops, yeah. And it used Street Fighter 2 characters. Yeah, they didn't mind using them in a way that they were used like they were doing things like in Street Fighter 2 Rainbow Edition. You remember that game when we played Street Fighter 2 Rainbow Edition?
Yeah,
because a lot of people in around Hong Kong would play that version of the game, so they implemented those things into that movie. We're not talking about that movie because you haven't seen it now. Back to Street Fighter 2. When I first saw this movie when it came out, I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread, right? Because up to that point we were mostly getting crap in terms of cartoons, and to finally see Street Fighter 2 in an animated form was pretty cool. Now I gave it a revisit 10 years ago, and the movie to me doesn't hold up. Now there's a lot of wank in the film. Now this you don't know this term yet. There was a lot. What did you think was funny in the film? What were the kind of weird things that you saw? What did you spot in the movie when we watched it today? Whose shirt?
Guile.
Guile. Okay, Guile. Yeah.
His shirt was was changing colours.
Yeah, that's something that we noticed. Throughout the film, Guile's shirt seemed to change colours. I remember when I first watched it, I noticed that it was blue. He was wearing a blue shirt. But then, I guess in the DVD version that we watched today, I noticed that a lot of times it seemed to change from green to blue to green. Because look, in the game you could change between blue and green, but I don't know if that was deliberate or if that was some color problem. I thought that was pretty weird.
At first we thought it was because he was in the dark.
Yeah, we thought it was because he was in the dark, but then there was another scene where it was clearly blue and then it was clearly green. So I'm not sure. Maybe that was the copy that we had. Something wrong with that. I don't know. So it was talking about things like that. There's something else that I noticed when Bison is fighting Ken on top of the ship, and then Ken falls off the side and he's grabbing onto the rocket booster of the ship. Now I know you're young, so you probably don't understand the science behind that. It's physically impossible to grab something that would get that hot that's going to power an aircraft. So those things get hot, and Ken's just holding onto it with his bare hands. So something else that I always hated since first watching it in comparison to other Japanese anime. Now I'm not a big anime fan. I don't watch a lot of anime. There's a few things that I like in anime, but that's about it. Ranma half, or one half as they call it. That's my favorite anime. Now the thing I hate about anime is when it gets dubbed. When it gets dubbed with English voices. And it's either hit and miss. Now, for instance, Ranma one half. I like all the voices. I like all the English voices in that. Except for the main character, Ranma. I hate the voice that they used, the English voice. The Japanese voices, obviously, are perfect. But, you know, the Fatal Fury anime movies, their voices are spot on. They're perfect. I like them. There's other movies I just can't stand the voices. Now, in this movie, the voices are pretty good, but they still annoy the crap out of me. You don't really know the difference, but what did you think of the voices in the film?
They were good.
They were good. They were good. There's just something try-hard about some of the voices in some of these films, and especially in this Street Fighter movie, they were really trying to kind of sell it as big people film. Now, it's not a movie that you should be watching at your age, probably. There's a few F-bombs in the film, and a few other... Yeah. Clearly, when you watch the Japanese version, the dialogue is different. And they really tried to... I don't know who they were trying to impress when they translated it to English. I think they were trying to make it more mature than what it was, I think. Now, to some degree, that's cool, and in other degrees, again, like I said previously, it's pure wank. What else did you notice in the film? Did you notice that there were a lot of parts that were just dead space? This is something that I never noticed when I first watched it, all those years ago when it was a new film, in 94, 95. There's a lot of dead space, a lot of dead air. And do you know what I mean by that? when nothing's happening on screen, like there's a part where Ryu is just standing on a mountain, and they've just got the soundtrack going in the background music, and he's not doing anything, and the camera's just panning across slowly, and there's nothing going on.
A waste of time.
Wasting time. It's filling out time, isn't it? They did that in the Street Fighter 2 V show, which we really enjoyed watching the first half of that show up until the second half of that show, where they kind of lost track of the storyline, and then they were just doing that filler, replaying things that we'd seen before, or just having somebody stare at a wall for like 5 minutes and not do anything, which shits me about anime. That's one thing. That's one of the reasons why I'm not into so much anime, because there's a lot of directors that would do that from time to time with the films that I did see. Bringing into that soundtrack. Okay, the soundtrack. Did you like the music in the film? What did you think of the music? Do you think it suited the film?
Yeah.
It did? It did suit it?
Yeah.
Okay, at the time when it came out, there was a lot of recent songs that they put in, like English songs. Now, in the Japanese version, they've got Japanese songs, and it gives the movie a different vibe. Now, with this one, whenever I think back about the soundtrack to Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, again, I think wank, because it's, again, trying really hard to impress. There's a lot of elements of this film that are try hard. But watching it back, especially watching it back today, now, it's the first time for you to watch it, first time for me to watch it since 20 years now, maybe. 20 years? Bloody hell, 20 years. Time. If you ask me about the soundtrack, I'd say it was crap. But now that I watch it today, it actually does suit the film, and it gives it a good vibe. It keeps the pacing going. It's actually pretty good. So, that's funny how you can remember certain things and then experience them differently. What else? Alright, what else? There was something else about the film. What was it that I think that you mentioned when we were watching it, that you were kind of... There was something else that you were kind of down on in the film that you were watching when you were watching it at the time. You told me. Was it about Chun-Li? What was it about Chun-Li?
Chun-Li was having a shower.
No, not that part. Okay, there was something else that was probably not suitable for Kabuki Fox Junior here. And that was something. Look, that was something that everybody was looking forward to. All right, we're on to the Chun-Li subject now. Okay, when the movie came out, there was a big thing about the fact that you could see Chun-Li's boobies. And now, obviously, the fan base for Street Fighter 2, especially at the time, was predominantly young boys. And everybody loved Chun-Li. So, of course, it goes without saying that, hey, wouldn't it be awesome to see some gazungas? Now, in the film, there is a scene where she's having a shower, and you see her, shall we say, her lady parts. When I brought up Chun-Li before, I was meaning the other thing that you were talking about.
She never got to fight,
Bison. She never got to fight Bison, yeah? Yeah, so she never got the chance to fight Bison. Okay, so what else was it about Chun-Li?
Chun-Li never got to meet Ryu and Ken.
That's right, yeah. Chun-Li never meets Ryu and Ken in the movie.
Yeah.
Because we'd seen the show, you were familiar with her knowing Ryu and Ken.
Yeah.
And also, I think the first thing you said when you saw her on screen was, why does she know so much information? Because she works for Interpol, she's a special agent. Again, that was something you didn't know, and it's not really, they don't really introduce her as, I don't know. Speaking of Bison, there's the other thing where, alright, Guile. Now, Guile gets some screen time, but he never gets a fight, does he?
He only gets to fight, Bison.
That's right, gets to fight if you call that a fight, because it's not really a fight. Bison's doing that phasing thing where he's all over the place.
People can go through.
They can go through. Yeah, we were joking around in the film when we were watching it about that phasing thing where Bison goes kind of see through and people go through him. It's like, well, Ryu's trying to get past Bison at one scene to get to Ken, who's been injured, and then Bison's in his way, and then they're having this fight. And what did you say?
Why doesn't Ryu just act like he's going to him to punch him, and then so Bison can go invisible, and so Ryu can just walk through him, and just keep running.
So yeah, so
and get to Ken.
so just run towards Bison. He phases through. You go through him, and you just keep running. And then Bison will be standing there looking at him like, I hate when this happens.
Come on, where is he? Get back here!
Ryu's running off in the distance, and Bison realizes the fight's over. So like, yeah, well, that would have been a handy sort of technique to use there, wouldn't it? When somebody keeps doing that. But yeah, so Guile, from what we saw, Guile didn't get a proper fight because of that. And then before we know it, he's been defeated, and then later knocked down. Yeah, and then Bison just leaves him there. And then at the end, when we think that Chun-Li is dead, and Guile goes back. I don't know if you spotted this or not. Guile goes back. He doesn't have any bruises or cuts on him from being beaten up by Bison. Yeah. But Chun-Li is wrecked from fighting Vega earlier on in the film. Now, Guile says to her, we got him. We got Bison or something like that. I got revenge for both of us. How? You didn't do anything.
Yeah.
He would have been unconscious in the whole fight when Ryu and Ken beat Bison.
He could.
And nobody finds a body either. Did they find Bison's body? No. And then we see him later at the end, which What did you think of the ending? When Ryu says goodbye to Ken and he's kind of walking away instead, what did you think of that ending with the truck?
Weird. It wasn't a good ending.
Was it like a 2-second ending? Somebody thought of that over their lunch hour. They probably thought, you know what, we need something with some pizzazz to finish off this movie. What can we do? How about we get Ryu to walk away into the sunset? Yeah, that's good. But how about, let's see, we've got our work experience student here today. How about you come up with an ending to the film? We'll get a truck, and we'll have Bison, for some reason, he's able to drive a truck, and he'll just drive it right to Ryu, and that'll be the end. Alright, high fives all around. We're the strippers. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Alright. So, that's what the ending feels like. And then looking back at it as an adult, it's a stupid bloody ending. And you're not an adult, and you thought the ending was pretty stupid too. So that's another thing. A lot of the dialogue and some of the ideas in the film seemed like they were written by teenage boys. What else? There's something else that's kind of disturbing. Something else that disturbed me that you wouldn't pick up on because you're so young. And that was the pre-fight to Chun-Li and Vega. Now again, it goes into pervy sort of territory there. And being of a Japanese sort of culture, the movie, I could see where the angle was coming from. But then there's always something that adults that I've watched the film with would bring up. And they think that there's something unsavory going on with when Vega breaks into Chun-Li's apartment. And then the camera angles, and the way the camera angles are moving away, and they don't show us what's going on, and you just kind of hear sort of moaning or screaming, I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know what they're trying to insinuate there, or if it's like kind of fantasy, sort of octopus, purple octopus type fantasy stuff that they're going for. Again, this is going over your head, you're not sure what I'm talking about, but other people who watch anime, I've seen that stuff, will know what I'm talking about. So I don't know if that's what they were going for with the Chun-Li Vega thing in the start, to make people think, oh, something terrible's going on here, apart from a fight. I hate that shit in films. I hate that stuff in movies. I hate when they put in sexual sort of traumas and things like that in films. I'll turn a movie straight off, even if it's a really good film, because, you know, again, this is stuff going over your head. Like, you know, when you know somebody or something that has experienced something like that, last thing you want to see is crap like that in movies. It's like if you're sick and you're dying of some kind of illness or something, the last thing you want to see in a movie is, for instance, stuff about that. You watch movies as escapism, and that's, you know, trying to escape reality here. Now, I understand that probably the ideas behind some of that stuff is escapism as well for most people that haven't experienced horrible things in their life, but yeah. So again, this is stuff going over your head, so we'll go on to another subject. Wasted characters that were just in it for the sake of being in it. You were happy when you saw Blanca, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. How long was that Blanca scene?
Just like 2 minutes.
Yeah, probably something like 2 minutes. Which is a shame. Again, like I told you earlier, you can't focus on every single character, otherwise the movie is going to be an absolute mess. And that's why they just focused on Ryu and Ken. So all up, you know what? It was fun rewatching it. I'll probably be another 20 years before I watch it again, because it just... there's a lot that I don't like about the film. The main winning feature of this movie, the thing about this film, is that the fighting isn't bullshit. The fighting itself was choreographed by, it's escaping my name, I'm going to put it across here, it was choreographed by an actual martial artist, competition martial artist from Japan, from what I recall. And he's made sure that the fighting, when you see the fight scenes in this film, they're not crap, some idiot jumping over somebody like a Marlin jumping around and then apparently there was a punch and then something. No, the choreography is beautiful. It could have been something you see in an actual martial arts movie. That is the #1 redeeming feature of this film. Everything else to it, I've got no interest in watching it again. And being a big Street Fighter fan, I don't know, I guess at my age, it's just like, I got better things to watch. What was it that you liked most about this film?
When Ken and Ryu were fighting...
Bison at the end?
Bison?
Why, because of the way the fight looked?
Yeah.
It was a good looking fight, wasn't it? Even though one character has a lot of weird shit on.
Yeah, okay.
So I guess you liked the film a lot.
Yeah. Ah.
But it was good for you to experience the film for the first time, so now you've experienced Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. Maybe one day I'll show you the Japanese version. It's a completely different vibe, the way the film is.
So we won't understand?
No, well, look, subtitles, so you're going to have a bit of trouble with subtitles there.
Well, I can read.
Yeah, I know you can read it, but like, you're going to get bored after the first 10 minutes. That's fine.
Of course,
that's
fine.
Me. Yeah. Next up, you know what I'm going to show you? A little movie, I think it was 94? 93, 94, a little movie by Jean-Claude Van Damme. Street Fighter the movie. You gotta watch it. I know you're not interested in watching it because you know what a turd the film is. But
yeah.
We gotta give it a rewatch. We gotta rewatch it. you could tell me what you think of the film.
I want Ryu and Ken to be the main character in that, then I'll watch it.
Yeah, well, you're out of luck, pal. But until then, alright.